It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out podcast, episode 297. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. You're back.
I am back.
For the whole episode.
Yes, I look like
Mostly.
shit. I
Yes.
look terrible. But I'm here, and I feel like a bazillion times better than last week.
Yeah.
Like,
and
look, I can lift my arm.
Oh, don't push your luck. And also the way our cameras are set up, nobody can see it.
I know.
So
My shoulder can move, though, now. Woo, woo,
and
woo.
you don't look like, considering what you've been through.
Oh my
I
God,
think you
guys,
look
if
amazing.
you see this bump over here, like,
it's a lot, but again,
it's bad. So here's the thing, though. The doctor says that will be there for a month, maybe two.
yeah.
I'm gonna have this big goose egg, but
Yeah.
hey, don't get me wrong. Like, I will joke about it. I will make all kinds of jokes about it. I will be very self-deprecating, but I am so grateful that is all I have going on. Like, it's fine.
Well, you have more than just a goose egg going on, but
That's the worst that it looks,
But,
though.
yeah.
My shoulder, my broken clavicle is still broken. And I will not be doing a follow-up appointment for that until March 1st. But I did a follow-up appointment for my concussion, and they were very pleased with how everything was going. They were pleased with how my ear is healing, which it is terrible to look at, too. You can't really see it from that far away, but
trust me, it's bad.
it's bad.
Yeah. 20 stitches just in your ear.
Yeah.
And you have small ears.
I do have little tiny ears.
They got a little tinier, at least the one did.
It did. Lost a piece of that, what do they call it? Cartilage.
Cartilage, yeah.
Yeah, words don't come as easily for me right now. So yeah, just forgive me on that. But they said that I can resume activity as I feel like it. So I can do walks now as long as I'm wearing my sling, and I can ride the bike as long as I'm wearing my sling. I will be honest, that's probably not going to happen till Tom is home, because I am not quite confident taking off on doing things on my own. I can't bend over and put my shoes on just yet. So I need help.
I'm not looking forward to trying to get the Peloton shoes onto you.
I like for my bike. I don't blame you. It's going to be a thing.
And you're also still having bouts of dizziness. So like you need to be very careful about getting on a treadmill or a bike right now.
Yeah.
So.
If I get on a treadmill, it will be very slow speeds, and I will be using the clip. Don't at me. I promise I'm going to be careful. Guys, I don't want to get hurt. I swear to God. I'm being careful. I haven't done any exercise as of yet. I'm hoping, Tom doesn't know this yet, but I'm hoping that maybe I can get him to go for a walk this afternoon after we get done here, just in the neighborhood.
What?
I'm not comfortable walking on the street anymore.
On the upside, I'll finally be able to walk faster than you.
You will.
Any other time, you're like, come on. I'm like, I don't want to walk faster. We should also say,
yes.
Just moments ago, breaking news. We got the police report finally
From the accident.
the
yes.
accident, and it officially says that it was not your fault, that you were crossing in the, because we didn't think that it was, but the problem was
I couldn't remember.
You couldn't remember because you got hit by an SUV, and so you just remember you were jogging and then you were bleeding, and
I just woke up in the street, so I had no idea.
Yeah, like everything in the middle
is gone.
And so the report says that you had the light, you were in the crosswalk, and there's a witness that says you had the light. So
yeah, that poor girl is going to have some insurance rate hikes.
It sure seems it.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen for her.
Yeah.
Which, but yay, it could have been so much worse.
Absolutely.
And I am so incredibly grateful. And I just have to say thank you to everybody out there. I've gotten so many messages, cards, flowers, gifts. You guys are amazing. I mean,
oh my God, there's so many flowers upstairs. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you didn't make it.
I know.
Like, there's a lot of flowers up there.
I even got flowers on Valentine's Day. I think you were a little jealous.
I was just like, well, my first thought was I was like, I don't do flowers. Like I've never.
He's never bought me flowers.
Never bought
guys.
you flowers. Like
Not one time in a decade.
I'll buy you things and presents.
And you're great at it, by the way.
But I don't buy flowers. And I never have for any of the women I've dated. There's been so many. But I never have. And so like when flowers showed up on Valentine's Day, I was like, you got some splaining to do, Lucy. But I was like, okay.
It was for Galentine's Day, and
Yes.
it was from dear sweet Christina Sandifer. I really feel like there's not words to convey how much I appreciate how many people have sent their love and their support and in so many ways, and people just check on me every day to make sure I'm okay. And I just want you guys to know I really am doing okay. Like I really genuinely am. It's going to be a while till I'm back to 100%, but I also have gotten a billion messages telling me how many people that have family members and friends that have had the exact same thing happen to them.
And then the next line is, no, they died.
They died.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful to be alive. Like I flew through the air and landed on my head. Like I by all accounts should not be here.
Yeah.
Like I am lucky. I am so freaking lucky. And I know that. And I am grateful. And not going to get emotional.
When did that start?
Okay, well, I'm going to get a little emotional. I'm really, really, really happy to be here recording this podcast, and everything is okay. So it is looking very good that I'm still going to be able to do Big Sur. I will probably be walking, but I should be able to do Big Sur.
Yeah.
Slowly. But I will be able to do it.
And Dr. Jen wanted to walk anyway.
Yeah. So,
and damn it if she doesn't get her way.
Dr. Jen always gets her way. What the hell? Do you think she sent that lady after me?
I don't know.
Like in a little car assassin? I'm just kidding. I love Dr. Jen. She would be mortified if she heard that.
We should also say, with all the outpouring from the public that we've seen, you also got some very nice stuff from Peloton.
I did. Yeah. Peloton has really shared their love. I got a beautiful bouquet of flowers from the corporate team, the apparel team. They sent me a gift bag, and I have to go back to this in a second, but I also got a box of cookies from Maddie, the best cookies on the planet.
They're from a place called Last Crumb.
If you haven't
LA.
Tried it, do it.
They're really good. We'd use promo code No, we don't have a promo code.
We don't.
They were just really good cookies.
They were so good. Maddie said they were the best cookies on the planet, and he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
And Susie Chan sent the most beautiful message. And this week I've messaged some of the instructors asking about things like follow-ups and stuff. And
like unrelated
to me at all. And they've all been like, are you okay? How are things? And people have just been amazing. And I have to give a special shout out to the Peloton apparel team, because they didn't just, I love leggings and sports bras. You guys know that. I know.
When did that happen?
It's shocking, but true. But they sent me the most thoughtful clothing, because because
there wasn't one pair of leggings in there,
right?
Which is very thoughtful.
It's so thoughtful,
because it was sweatpants, which is what you can get on and off
by myself,
and that don't hurt. I wouldn't think you'd want leggings gripping onto that road rash.
No.
And then they also sent you some tops that were like pullovers
zipper.
with
I'm
zippers.
wearing one right now, this waffle print top, and it's a zipper, so I can pull it on over my neck and my arm, which if I had, I can't do that with a sports bra right now. It has to be like a front closure. And they also sent shorts and then cozy socks, like comforting stuff. Like it was so thoughtful what they sent. And just it's been amazing, the outpouring. And I know I'm just going on and on and on about it, and you guys are like, okay, we get it. But it just means a lot to me. And so I just had to share.
Yeah, it's like if you don't want to sound like you're harping on it. You don't want to sound like, well, we're awesome because Peloton sent us stuff. But they were so nice to do that you also want to let the world know that they did that really nice thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this podcast for how long now?
Since 2017.
Yeah, 2017 to 2023. So we're coming up on our six years.
Yeah, it'll be 6 in May.
6 years and 3 months.
Yeah.
And they have never done anything like that. I got flowers when my grandpa died, which I very much appreciate, by the way, but like never just like, here, have some stuff.
Right.
That's never been who they are. And I respect them for that. They don't just send
like
stuff.
we're not like mad about it.
No.
But it's not
just all the more special.
Right.
And all of the gifts that I got from so many people, Jenn's men, they really showed the love. The whole group did. And I know we talked about this last week. I do have the bell. My daughter insisted that I get the bell just for Tom. But I've used it sparingly. And I love that blanket. And every time somebody sees that blanket in a picture, they want it. And it is the most comfortable blanket I've ever had in my life. And I love it forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for the love.
Yes, very much so. So, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Okay, so I know that this might shock you guys, but we were a little busy this week. I was not quite up for recording. So we decided to do something we've never done before. And
well, except when Howie Godnick passed away.
That is true.
Yeah.
See, my brain's not quite all the way there.
That's what I'm here for. I'm the brains of this operation.
We are in trouble.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, we've done it one other time.
Yes.
But we are replaying an interview, our interview with Snooki. It's one of our favorite interviews because we are huge fans of the Jersey Shore.
We love the Jersey Shore.
Love it.
Sorry.
And if you're above it, you probably didn't watch it because I used to be all like, I'm never watching that. Then I watched it and I was instantly addicted to these amazing, wonderful people.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that they'd be as nice as they are.
No, they're so freaking cute.
If you haven't watched the show, and then when you watch the show, you're like, oh, they aren't exactly who I thought they were. Aspects, yes, but
yes, yeah, for sure. They're adorably lovable. But anyway, love Snooki, and it's one of our favorite interviews, so we are replaying that. We also have a ton of Peloton news. Don't worry, we got all the things from this week. I have to give another shout out to Darcy and Nikki helping us yet again this week build the list. I was more with it, so I did build some of the list, but they made sure I didn't miss anything. They made sure to keep me in the loop. We also have a visit from Dr. Jenn. We are talking about how to help your loved ones be healthy. And we have a visit from Angelo, and we talk about tips for people who are intermittent fasting. And so we have all of the things that you want to hear. So we're going to get into all of it.
Awesome. Well, before all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always helpful and appreciated. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/real spoilers, where you can get all sorts of bonus content. We were going to record one. I swear to God.
We were. We had a plan.
And then she got hit by a car. But you also, when the episode, they're ad-free episodes, and then when we get them early, you get them early. So we try to get them to you. Or the last couple of weeks we haven't, and it's because we haven't gotten them until like 3:00 in the morning when I do it when I wake up. But
our whole system's off.
Yes,
sorry.
But you can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. I also want to say, when we're going back to just the car stuff, I also want to thank Gina Mitchell for filling in last week. So much. There's so many people to be grateful to. So if we missed you, we apologize. But Gina stepped up and was our guest host last week
and did an amazing job.
Great job, and just wanted to say thank you to her for doing that.
Thank you, Gina. You are the best.
And she did that with like 24 hours notice.
Yes.
So so thank you very much. So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
Okay.
You're supposed to say we shall.
We shall.
There we go.
Peloton in the news.
So Peloton is having a referral code sale.
So we didn't talk about this last week?
I don't think so. I looked at when it came out, and it came out 6 days ago, which means it would have came out the day after we recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was interesting because it stops on the 21st, but it's $200 instead of $100. So usually whenever you had the referral in the past, it was like you would get $100 and the person that you referred would get $100 off of accessories. But now they get $200 off any items in the cart, not just the accessory.
Gotcha.
And it's $200 for the buyer and referrer. So again, you have until the 21st to make sure that you use that. If you're looking for, this is the perfect time to buy a rower. Like, get on it. You need to do that. I know a lot of people that bought them this week, and they are getting them delivered within a week.
Wow.
So enjoy.
Pandemic is over.
It is.
So there's an upside to the pandemic ending.
That's true.
Yeah. Nobody ever talks about the upside.
The upside.
of
well,
the
hey, we're
pandemic
alive.
ending. Yeah.
That's the upside. Most of us.
Yeah, touche. So Bloomberg Law is reporting that Peloton lost their bid to toss the worker wage claim lawsuit, but the case got paused.
So what does that mean that it got paused? Do we know?
I don't know. And you have to have a special membership to read Bloomberg Law. So you only get the first 1 3/4 paragraph. So.
Normally I would have sent this to the Fred and said, what up? But
Yeah.
I didn't get to. And I don't have any lawyers in my inbox this week. So bring it on, attorneys. Bring it on. If you get to looking at this.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't forget, we've got our tip line. You can go out there to theclipout.com/tips if you want to be anonymous. Or you can just message us, email us. You can email us at... what did we do? Pelotontips@gmail.com? I don't even know anymore.
I don't remember. But if you go to our website, you can click through straight from there. That's the way to go.
Don't listen to my email
Yeah.
address.
Yeah, at
Don't
least
trust my email address
Hey,
right now.
at least you had a head injury. I don't have an excuse of any kind.
This one's been going on for a while, so I'm very curious to see. I think this is one of the last few court cases out there.
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see. And hopefully we can figure out exactly why it was paused.
Yeah.
Peloton Australia is having a members event.
Yeah, well, they had, right?
Had a members event. Oh, because it's Australia, so it's...
It was February 12th.
Okay.
So they came the past weekend. And so it was Jon Hosking was in Australia. So lucky Peloton Australia. And a bunch of people came out to the store and got to see him and hang out with him. So it looks like it was a totally fun event. I'm so glad so many people got to go. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
We came across a new Peloton-based commercial. It's from Hilton, but it's bragging all about how they've got Pelotons.
Yeah. And I love it because, we were staying at Hilton's this year, and I actually used the bike at the Hilton one of the times we stayed, and I was so grateful it was there.
The one time we went there, they had the sign up that said, Peloton's coming this year. And you're like, it's
November.
It's mid-November, you sons of...
Right. But when we stayed in December, we got to see it.
Yeah.
We got to use it. So it was great. But no, it's great. I love seeing this at so many different Hiltons. This is good. And I think that we're going to see more things like this now that they have decided to double down on the Peloton commercial Precor. So
Absolutely. Gizmodo this week has what?
Oh, I'm just waiting.
What's that?
Oh, just read the title.
Has a review of the tread. A non-Peloton fan, gave Peloton tread a pounding. Well, you're going to want to wipe that down when you're done. It's going to be sticky or slippery, or I don't know what it's going to be, but you're not going to want to run on it.
And that's why I was waiting.
So,
I pretty much chose this article specifically because
so
of that
I can
headline.
make a joke?
Yes.
Well, thank you. See, your head injury is getting better every day.
It is.
Yeah. So the author of this piece, Zachariah Kelly, basically starts by saying that he expected the tread to be a big old piece of
He sure did.
and he was wrong.
He loved it.
He loved it.
That's right.
Yeah, it freaking rocked. That's a quote from the article.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And he did 2 different sessions. So he did an unguided run around Western Australia, no commentary. And then I don't remember what the second one was, but
It says it involved one of Peloton's personal trainers.
yes, via display in a recorded session.
I love when people, I guess in Australia, it's a little different because this is Gizmodo Australia. I can't remember if I said that or not, but I guess in Australia it makes a little bit more sense, but it's just funny when people still explain it as if no one has ever heard of it.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of people in Australia that is true about.
At this point, it's tantamount to being like, oh, I really love Diet Coke. So it's carbonated water, but it's
Well, I
got
don't
like
know
a
that it's
sweet
reached
taste to
that
it.
level yet, but it sure feels like it. And maybe that's because we talk about it constantly.
Well, we are a skewed demographic.
We are. Oh, that's me changing leg position. Sorry.
But it's nice to see articles where doubters come on board.
It sure is.
Makes it feel like 2018 up in this bitch.
I know. It's nice to hear positive things.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, then you're going to like this one from ARS Technica,
Okay.
whatever that is. But they have a review of the Bike Plus, and they have a similar reaction.
Yeah, they were pretty skeptical of this, right?
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of like negative stuff at the beginning, all the bad things that have happened to Peloton.
Yeah.
So they started with a bunch front loading of like, this is all the crap that's happened.
Yeah.
Then they get into it. And I will tell you that like they had two nitpicks about this bike, and I was cracking up because one of them is the pedals. And this guy went on about this for like 2 paragraphs about the pedals. And I was just like, it's not that serious.
Right.
Like it's pedals. Like, yes, it could be better. I will agree with that, but I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal as you went on. But anyway, in general, the whole thing was really good. So I guess if you're going to have like a really negative, like if you have a nitpick, as he calls it, and then you have all these really, really positive things to say, I will take it. So that's fantastic.
So we have a special event coming up at the London studios.
We do. And it's over 4 different dates or 4 different weekends. So March 25th and 6th, June 24th and 5th, September 30th and October 1st, and then November 25th and 26th. So I was really confused by this head injury. But I was looking at it and there were all these pictures of all the instructors. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you guys are all going to be there on the weekend and you're teaching classes.
You're
Isn't
like,
this
but that's
happening
what
every
you
weekend?
always do.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
And then you reached out so someone could connect the dots for you.
Yes. So I reached out to Tobias and oh my God. He was like, it's for all the German
He was
instructors.
being very gentle with
He
you.
was so nice to me. He was like, yes, it's all the German instructors. We will be all teaching a live class that weekend. So it's like all the German instructors taking over the studio those 4 weekends. So this is your chance, Germany, like to get into the studio and take classes with all the German instructors. It's kind of like a German festival 4 weekends of the year. So
It's Oktoberfest, just not in October.
well, one of them's in November, so it's kind of close-ish.
It's Thanksgiving weekend, I think.
It is.
Which means nothing over there,
Right.
but it's just, that was my first thought. I was like, well, that's Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah, they don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's like over here, someone's like, but that's Boxing Day.
Yeah, I'd be like,
We're
what?
What the hell is that?
Yeah. But anyway, how cool is this? I love that they are doing this. I'm so excited for people who take the German classes. Like they know German because the German instructors don't get a lot of love.
Yeah, for sure. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And hopefully they'll be teaching some English classes that weekend too. So we can, at home, we can take classes with them. That would be really cool since I can't just pop over to London.
Sadly, no.
Sadly, no. Because if I did, I'd go see Susie Chan in a heartbeat.
So where did we get this?
This was
next thing
on
from?
the OPP.
That's what I thought. Just the screen grab.
Somebody
was so dark.
Donna Pearson Carr tagged me in this.
Okay.
I haven't submitted something from the OPP in a while.
Yes, but someone submitted a story prompt to ChatGPT. And just a quick overview if you're not familiar, it's the new AI that's going to get us all fired. So if you're against universal basic income, you might want to rethink it because you're about to lose your job. So they fed a prompt into it and said they wanted to hear a Dungeons and Dragons adventure centered around a Peloton exercise bike. And we get 4 paragraphs of a story outline.
My favorite thing is the players must navigate this strange and dangerous new world, facing off against fearsome digital monsters and solving puzzles to uncover the location of the Peloton.
Of the Peloton.
Of the Peloton.
In a world where technology and magic are intertwined, the players are members of a prestigious gym known for its cutting-edge training equipment. One of the gym's most prized possessions is a magical Peloton exercise bike, which has the power to transport its rider to a parallel dimension for intense virtual training sessions.
Woo!
That's actually not a bad premise.
It's really not. Actually, it could be fun. Somebody needs to actually do this.
And it's scary because it's completely written by a computer. So that's the future is now.
Just a little note on ChatGPT. I've been hearing a lot of people doing things like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a marathon training program. Just so you know, ChatGPT is programmed to never give the same answer twice. What does that mean? That sometimes you're going to get a really good marathon training program. Sometimes you're not. So be very, very careful what direction you take from ChatGPT. It is not perfect.
For sure, because it's still new technology. So while it can do amazing things, they're also still working out the bugs. I didn't realize it was trained to never give the same answer twice. Because people keep talking about how it's going to replace search engines, but I'm like, if I'm Googling the best plumber in St. Louis and it's never giving the same answer twice, they're going to start giving out some pretty shitty plumbers eventually, aren't they? So one would think.
You would think.
I know. Here's what you do.
Okay.
Ask for the second best plumber in St. Louis.
Then you get a different answer.
Everybody's asking for the best.
Yeah.
It's for the second best.
I like it.
Yeah. Second best, they're going to try harder, right? Second best. They're going to be almost as good, but they're going to care a little bit more. They're going to try a little bit harder. Just, throwing that out there.
I'm just going to stick with Angie's List. Or hashtag Angie. Is that what they say now?
I don't know.
They rebranded.
They try to make it hip and trendy. And
I know.
I'm just trying to find a guy to clean my gutters.
Yeah, we don't need to be hip or trendy.
You don't got to make it cool.
No.
And coming up next, Dr. Jenn is going to talk to you about how to help your loved ones be healthy without irritating the living crap out of them. Crystal did it.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jenn or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jenn Show, and she's written 4 best-selling books, including The Relationship Fix, Dr. Jenn's 6-Step Guide to Improving Communication, Connection, and Intimacy. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, I have yet another question for you from the Clip Out community. This one is from Amy Miller Sams. She would like to know how she can be helpful to family, and helpful is in quotes. I feel like I need to say that.
Helpful, i.e. make them.
I think that's what we're going for. To family members who are grown adults who need to incorporate healthy habits and ditch non-healthy habits into their lives. As we all know, we don't make changes until we want to make a change. Nagging, suggesting, inviting, etc. don't seem to work. So help.
This is such a good question. And I totally get this. I'm right now working on my father in a number of health areas, especially healthy diet areas. And I think that the key is, first of all, knowing the person and knowing kind of the psychology of that particular person and looking at what will motivate that person. For some people, pain is the great motivator. For other people, aesthetics is the great motivator. For others, it is research-based. Show me an article, show me research that says if I do X, then Y is going to happen. I think that for some people, nagging may work, but that tends to be the least effective. I think that, and I hate the word nagging, but I think that really coming from a loving place is important. And coming from a place, I think the more critical you are of the person, the more power you lose. That if you're like, let's say you have a spouse that is overweight, criticizing their body is unlikely to get you results. But coming from an angle of like, I want to be able to share life on this planet with you for as long as possible. And I'm worried that you're hurting your health. Let's talk about what you might be willing to do to live longer and have a healthier life. So I think that really knowing the psychology, and at the end of the day, you can't make someone do something that they don't want to do. And I think it's particularly hard when you're someone who lives a healthy lifestyle. Look, I'm vegan. I exercise 7 days a week. I'm obsessed with my Peloton. And so I get where Amy's coming from. And it's very hard when you see other people making choices that are going to lead them to an earlier grave than they would necessarily need to have. And that it's hard to relate when you're someone who's so deeply integrated this into their lives. Part of what's important to understand is that when we look at studies of people who exercise regularly, when we look at people who change their diet, that there is a positive association for those of us who have integrated into our lives. For example, and they talked about this in the book, The Power of Habit, that when they looked at studies of people who exercise for the long term on a regular basis and ultimately lost weight, what they found is that there was an association between exercise and endorphins and feeling good and accomplishment and all of this stuff. And what we forget when we're people who exercise regularly is that when people first start out exercising, they don't get any of that. Exercise is painful. Mm-hmm. It is challenging.
Yes.
You oftentimes feel like a failure in the beginning because you can't do that much. Yeah. And especially if you have a partner that exercises a lot, you look at them and you're like, oh my God, my wife is lifting heavier than I am. I feel terrible. So it starts out with a negative association, and the person who's making the change has to tolerate the negative feelings associated with exercise for a temporary period. Because like if you first start running, you're not going to get endorphins. You have to have a certain level of fitness to get those endorphins. You're also not going to get a feeling of accomplishment. You may get a feeling at the end like, wow, I did something that was really hard and I challenged myself, but you're not going to get the feeling like, now when I go on the treadmill, at the beginning, I'm not a natural runner. I've talked about this a lot. It was painful. It was hard. Getting through 20 minutes was killer. But now on my long run, I can do an hour and I can look back and I go, wow, I'm so awesome. This is amazing. Look how far I've come. And that feels great, even if that hour doesn't always necessarily feel great. But it feels great in the end. And even when I'm doing it, it feels better than it did when I did the 20 minutes in the beginning. So understanding kind of the psychology behind it. And also, if you're encouraging someone to make changes, you're better off encouraging them to make small changes and doing it incrementally than being like, you should be working out every day like I do. Instead, hey, maybe you'll try like a 5-minute stretch class with me. Or, hey, would you be up for doing a 5-minute core class? I've had a lot of friends who've approached me over the last year because I post all of my workouts on Insta stories, who have said like, hey, I'd love to start working out. Can you help me? And one of the things that I always recommend is start with Emma's Crush Your Core, because it starts with 5 minutes. You're on the floor on your back. You're practically laying down. Like, it's hard. You build up, but it will give you a feeling of accomplishment and help you integrate exercise into your life. And that's, to me, the perfect starter.
Yeah, I don't think my body makes endorphins. That's where I still get none of that. I have endorphins.
Yeah. But are you doing any cardio? I know you're doing weights. Are you doing any cardio?
Some.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like he has to do he does like floor-based kind of HIIT cardio type things that he has to do.
People make me do.
Yeah.
And the strength stuff feels like cardio by the time I'm done.
His heart rate is definitely up.
And no endorphins. Is that a medical condition? Is that a real thing? Do I just not make them?
It's not. But what's probably happening, my guess, and this is just a hypothesis, is that you're not doing cardio long enough to get that.
Sure feels long.
Yeah. No, look, those HIIT cardio classes are killers. That's part of my new workout regimen this year. And I do 2 10-minute HIIT cardio classes, and each time I'm like, how am I going to get through this? I don't know that I'm going to be able to get through this. Somehow you do. But I do find I get endorphins on the bike and on the tread. I've never gotten endorphins doing a HIIT cardio class. Maybe it will come one day. Maybe I'm just not at the level, but where I see it the most is the tread and the bike.
Interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media, especially Instagram. Like I mentioned, on Insta Stories, I post all of my Peloton workouts at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man.
Instructors in the news.
This next story makes Crystal very, very jealous.
Oh my God.
Not that you would have ever been in the running for this job.
No.
But Cody Rigsby will be hosting the album release party for the latest from Pink.
Oh my God. I'm dead. Like, I feel like a teenager and I need to put like dead emojis, you know, like little skull and crossbones.
You're a Pink stan.
Oh God, I love Pink so much. I am just such a huge freaking fan. And like for Peloton and Pink, I just remember when I first started taking Peloton classes, I think it was the second year that they did Homecoming, and they were like, okay, everybody submit your favorite songs for Homecoming. Like, what songs do you want to hear? And I was like, I had like Pink, Get the Party Started. And then I had like Rockstar and all these fun Pink songs because I just love Pink so much. I mean, I just feel like she's amazing in every way. Like I feel the same way about Pink as I do Lizzo. Like, I have a huge girl crush. I just think she's like one of the most amazing people ever. So I am so incredibly jealous. Cody's going to be in the same room and they're going to be hosting together her album release party. It is going to be live streamed this Friday at 4 p.m. The same day that this podcast is going to be released. I will be listening, I guarantee you. And I am super, super, super jealous of him. So you also can put your questions in to Instagram for the Q&A. They're going to have a Q&A.
I will also say, and we've said this before on the show, but we're doing repeats this week, so we can repeat ourselves. Yeah. If you ever get a chance to see Pink,
you should.
Absolutely. Even if you don't think you're a Pink fan, like her concerts are next level.
They really are.
Yeah.
One other thing I need to say also, I had said on social media how excited I was about this because this means we're going to have another artist collaboration. Clearly.
One would think.
Clearly.
I can't imagine that isn't also in the works.
So everyone starts telling me about all the Pink classes.
Yeah.
I know. Do you think I missed the Pink classes?
Well, but the head injury, maybe they thought you forgot.
Okay, that's fair.
They're trying to help you out.
But I'm just excited that there's going to have
did one.
the new album. The new album will be included. I'm so excited about that.
That's what Instagram and just the internet in general needs.
What?
It needs the ability to whisper.
Oh, that's a good idea.
To just be like, hey, I'm not trying to be a dick.
Okay, so I know you're joking, but I just saw that on Facebook this week when you send a message to somebody, maybe it was on Instagram. I think it was Instagram. You can send people messages and use hashtag silent and it will send it to them without giving them a notification.
But if they don't get a notification, then they'll never see it.
Yeah, but you can claim that they had it.
That
seems a little sneaky.
There's passive aggressive and then there's passive.
Well, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it is. Chelsea Jackson Roberts had her first class after coming back from maternity leave.
Her first live class.
First live class.
Yes, she got to
That's what you're here for.
I'm so excited.
You'll have to give me a little bit of slack. My wife had a head injury. So.
And she was so excited. And it was so great to see. And she got so much love from all the instructors. And it's so nice to have her back. So it's nice to see all the moms coming back from maternity leave. I love it. I love having all of our instructors back. And I'm glad they got to spend so much time with their babies.
So we had a couple instructors at the Super Bowl.
We did?
We did.
Just kidding.
Oh, I was.
Jen Sherman was there.
I'm not trying to be a. But we had some instructors at the Super Bowl.
Oh, thank you. Hashtag whisper.
Hashtag silent. Or my hashtag silent but deadly.
You're never silent, just deadly. Yeah. Okay, so Jen Sherman.
Heard of her?
She was at the Super Bowl. She got to go to Arizona. She was very, very sad at the outcome.
Yeah,
so.
I bet.
Mm-hmm. That's what Missouri will do to you. Make you sad.
I'm such not a sports guy. I was like, what does that have to do with Missouri? And I was like, oh yeah, we had a team in the Super Bowl. I like legit had no idea what you were talking about. Oh my goodness. Also at the Super Bowl was Aditi Shah.
Yes, she was there. She went for the commercials though.
I don't think they show them at the game.
I don't know. Maybe they show them on the big screen.
She went for Rihanna.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, she went to go see Rihanna. That makes sense.
Who's now also out on maternity leave.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
The game was so amazing, Rihanna got pregnant.
Oh my God. All the people talking about it. Everybody's talking about Rihanna being pregnant and her comforter she wore. Like, I don't understand why the hate. Like, why do people care so much? I don't understand. Understand. Why does everybody have to judge?
They're middle-aged men who are upset that they don't have classic rock at the Super Bowl anymore. That's why.
Okay. Got it.
Logan Aldridge is going to be in Men's Health. I guess he is currently in Men's Health magazine that's on the rack. I don't know that it's been online yet.
It's not. I reached out to Logan and I asked him when it would be, and he said he was thinking it was going to be next week. So we will be posting that just as soon as it hits.
Yeah.
But he is featured as very prominently centerfold right in the middle of Men's Health, and he is so excited. And I loved that he posted a reel of him doing the photo shoot. And God damn, is he strong.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing this like power push up and handstands. He is just so incredibly strong. Logan is just an incredible guy and such a sweetheart. And I'm so thrilled for him. It's so cool. And I know that it's really important to him to be able to highlight the inclusivity and to get out there for people who are differently abled. So it's really awesome that he's able to do that as well. So congrats to Logan.
Team Wilpers has their first ever run challenge shirt if you want to scoop one up.
Yeah, people have been doing their run challenges and talking about it, and shirts. People have been asking for shirts for a long time, and the shirts are out. So look, they might be sold out by now, but they are listed. So get out there and get them.
Tunde was on Good Morning America.
Yeah, and I did not get to watch all of this, but I heard that I don't remember the lady's name that she was there with on Good Morning America.
Okay.
But apparently she was not ready for Tunde. Like, she was standing there like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? She thought she was just going to do a cute little workout. She didn't know it was Tunde.
The shit was about to get real.
Yeah, she had no idea. So Tunde kicked her ass in the best way. And in that little scene right there, she's all, oh, I'm glad I didn't wear short sleeves because my arms don't look like you. And Tunde was like, oh, stop. But like, seriously, Tunde is built.
Yeah.
Like, she is amazingly strong. So yeah, she kicked this lady's ass and she was on Good Morning America. Congrats to Tunde.
Well, get used to saying congrats to Tunde. We got a lot of Tunde stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here we go.
So she has a new, I guess it's a commercial. It's not.
It's a Nike ad.
It doesn't look like a TV spot. It's designed for the web, right?
Yeah.
But for her Nike partnership.
Yeah, and it's called The Future is Female, and I love that Lindsay Buckyloo. I always say her. I don't know how to say her name. But this lady does all the hair and makeup for most of the Peloton instructors, so it's really cool that she got to do hair and makeup for Tunde for this particular ad as well. So very cool that Tunde is getting featured in another Nike ad.
And Tunde sat down with getpocket.com and talked about how she makes the most of her downtime. We're just going to need a Tunde sweeper.
Maybe we just do, we have a whole new podcast just about Tunde.
I think she might sue us. She's like, I'm going to have a podcast about Tunde.
She does have a podcast.
You don't get to have a podcast about Tunde.
Does it? She has one called Speak. And then she did that one for Peloton for a little while. Maybe that's going to come back in May, though. That could be because it's a couple months away.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We shall see.
But at any rate, Tunde, she got to do this article, and this is kind of talking about, it brings together talking about that she's a Nike global athlete, and she's, of course, Peloton instructor. And so she talks about all of those things, but she also talks about like, hey, this is how I have time to relax, what I do with my time to relax, which I suspect is not very much time at all. That's a lot. She's got a lot going on.
She's very much on the go.
Is this about Tunde too? I'm just kidding. This is about, this one is all about Alex Toussaint. And so the Applegate Farms is doing a feel good pros. They're like, have this lineup of feel good pros. But I mean, who else says feel good?
I know.
Like Alex Toussaint.
For sure.
Yeah. Feel good, look good, do better.
Yeah. And Applegate is, they have meat that's been ethically raised. Sourced and
humanely raised with no antibiotics ever.
There we go.
Yeah. So for people that eat meat, that is important. And that's, some people choose not to do that. And that's okay. We're not looking for you to weigh in on it. Yeah. But I think it's cool that he found another way to find, this is different than what a typical like sponsorship is.
For sure.
And he's up there with some big names. I mean, that's Tiffany
Amber Thiessen. Does she still use the Amber?
It looks like no.
No, she's just Tiffany Thiessen.
Yeah. Now, I am not familiar with Melissa Urban, who is the other person on the panel, but it says that she is the Whole30 co-founder and CEO.
Okay.
Yeah. So congrats to Alex.
Jess Sims was on the Today Show.
She sure was.
So we had dueling Peloton instructors on the morning show. So were they on the same day?
I don't think they were on the same day.
Can they compare ratings? They get in a fist fight in the break room at work.
I mean, Jess Sims and Tunde love each other, so I don't think that would be a thing. But look how pretty she looks. She's so done up so nicely. She's
I
so
don't
pretty.
notice other women.
Sure. That's nice.
I like right now. If she doesn't have a knot on her head, not into her.
I know, right? It's pretty hot.
Yeah. Does he got any road rash? Then maybe I'll think about it.
Hey, my road rash is pretty much gone.
Okay.
Thank you. So.
Well, so I tell you, it's on your back. Like
I can see in the mirror.
You just got to take my word for it.
Look at Al Roker doing the little step touches.
Yeah. He was an early Peloton user.
He sure was.
One of not the first, but he was definitely in that first wave of celebrities.
No, he definitely was.
Yeah, where we were like, oh, Al Roker has Peloton.
Yeah, I just I love how he's kind of like not all the way, like he's kind of like he looks like he's doing a dance is what I'm trying to say. I couldn't move like that right now if my life depended on it. Sideways movement is not my friend right now.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, back to the Cody stuff that we
Cody.
mentioned.
We're back to Cody
Earlier. He was on ESPN 101.
Yeah. What up, Cody? You were on the radio with St. Louis?
Yeah, like this is a St. Louis radio station.
We're right here.
What the hell, dude?
Come on, man.
I'm
right
like,
here.
I know the station. I think we have more listeners.
I know we do. I know we do. Sad but true. Now, they probably had a huge influx for this particular thing. A lot of people were talking about how fun it was that they played Smash or Pass with the sports mascots. That's right up Cody's alley.
Yeah,
I love it.
For sure.
Very fun.
He also had a Valentine's Day post for people.
Yeah. Ways to spend your Valentine's Day. And it was all images from like TV shows or books and things like that.
It was like not with Shrek. And then not eating Ben & Jerry's, not being sad and drinking. And then finally, yes to reading The Ethical Slut. Or probably more accurately, being an ethical slut.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, as long as you're ethical about it.
Right.
Yeah. We have a team up.
Yeah.
It's like this is like comic book talk. There's a team up. Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yes, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be Leanne Hainsby and Cody Rigsby doing a Pop 241 ride, and it's going to be live from the Peloton studios in London. So I guess Cody's going to London.
Yeah.
I wonder if this has to do with his live acting
his scripted
thing,
TV.
scripted TV. We never really heard what that was.
No, we did not. But I don't know. He was like, look in that post, like he was learning his lines. Like he was going to do it right then.
He did. He did. Yeah. I suspect it has nothing to do with it, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is a Pop 241 ride?
I have no idea. Do you think that's a band maybe?
I don't know.
Is it a type of pop?
I've never heard the phrase Pop 241, so I thought you wouldn't. I thought maybe it was like a workout thing that I didn't know.
I got nothing.
Must be British.
I don't know. It might be something the kids say. We're kind of out of touch, babe.
That is true. Allie Love spoke at the Tampa Tech Summit called Synapse.
I just thought this was so weird and out of left field. And I just thought it was interesting because they mentioned that she was a spokesperson there. This is the 6th year they've done this, and they talk about all these different things, including ChatGPT.
Right.
And then it talks about how she was a speaker there. I was just like, didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It just really doesn't have anything to do with anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong. Peloton was cutting edge. I don't mean that to be negative or mean. You know, I love Peloton.
But from the cutting edge standpoint, she's not building the bike or designing the software.
Right.
Like she's an instructor. That's a different role for a cutting edge tech company.
Yeah. It probably would make more sense if I actually got to hear the speech. But
that's true.
I just thought it was interesting, so I wanted to make sure to call it out.
If you would like a signed copy of Robin's book, Mother's Day is just around the corner.
It sure is. Oh, my God.
You can do that.
Still haven't gotten through Valentine's Day over here.
I know. I forgot to bring your present home from work again.
Oh, dang. It's
I
okay.
was so focused on leaving early to get the police report. That's what I got you for Valentine's Day this year.
You know what? I'll freaking take it.
I got you the police report.
It is not the most romantic in our lives this year. But anyway, back to Robin. So yeah, they have there's this Motivational Monday episode coming up, and you can be part of it. It's these. Where is she signing it? She's signing. It's like a Motivational Mondays episode. And if you leave a comment telling them what makes you strong, you get a chance to win her books, Strong Mama and Strong Baby. And so you can listen and listen for your chance, and hopefully you will win.
And speaking of Robin, she's been making the rounds on the podcast. She was on the Visualize Your Reinvented Life podcast.
Yes, Motivational Mondays Conversation with Leaders. And that was on February 13th.
And she was also on the Overpriced JPEGs podcast.
Well, that's an interesting one.
Well, I think they're taking a shot at NFTs because that's what people say NFTs are. It's like, why would you pay for a picture? Like, what do you care?
Got it.
Why is my screen grab of an NFT
She
any
was
less
probably
valuable than your NFT?
And considering that she's into NFTs and that's a big thing for her, she's probably talking through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was episode number 78 in Peloton instructor Robin Arzón on the Swagger Society, building community with collectibles, digital collectibles.
Jon Hosking was on Channel 9 in Australia with giving some beginners running tips, which I guess makes sense while he was down under for the member event.
And they were saying that he was showing off his running stride, which is interesting because I take classes with him all the time. And like, I've never really paid that much attention to his side running stride, you know, to be able to see the length of it. But like, he has really long legs and a really big stride. Like it's kind of crazy. Of course, they also use the smaller treads. So I think that probably makes it stand out even more.
Like it looks even more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense.
But he also, in this article, it also goes into how to find your stride pattern and how to really fine tune your stride pattern. So there's a lot to this article that is really helpful for new runners. So make sure you check that out.
Hannah Frankson was partnering up with Specsavers to talk about her first time.
Did you listen to this whole thing?
I did. It's about your first time wearing contacts.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's really funny, but it's cute. It's a cute little ad. So I wanted to include it. It's a little cheeky.
Yes.
As the Brits like to say.
Dwinger?
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
I think so.
Okay. Is hosting an English language gospel ride coming up on Sunday, if that is your jam.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to take those classes, and since it's in English, wanted to make sure that we mentioned it so people can keep an eye out for it. Very cool.
And coming up next, Angelo has tips for those of you who like to intermittently fast.
The Clip Out.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube from MetPro, it's Angelo. Hey, Angelo, how's it going?
Hey, Tom, Crystal, it's wonderful to be back.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here. You might remember that we started gathering some questions from our Clip Out community, and we have a brand new one for you today. David Howenstein, I'm hoping I am not completely butchering his last name. He would like to know, what should a person focus on for intermittent fasting? Or do you agree with a fasting program? Let's dig in.
Let's dive in. So, and like the answer to every question that you will ever ask me in these segments, the answer is always, it depends.
Are you running for office? What is going on?
So that's right. And this is why there is so much value in knowing your metabolic profile, because that's what it really depends on. So what should you focus on? Well, if you're doing intermittent fasting, you should be focusing on weight loss. Don't do intermittent fasting and then focus on PRs or hitting new heights of athletic performance. I mean, I know there are the guys in the commercials and the YouTube channels that say, I'm getting stronger every day on intermittent fasting. Well, they'd be getting stronger still if they weren't. Trust me. It's, training plus fuel equals your best performance. That said, if somebody's doing intermittent fasting, their goal is weight loss. Now, there ends up being a few tentacles to this that are really important. People just don't understand when they're diving into something. One of the most common questions we get asked is, why is it you're not using that science when you use so many different sciences? We're highly diverse. We'll use macronutrient ratioing, carb manipulation, calorie control, glycemic load, meal timing, 6 different modalities of training. But we don't usually, I say usually because there are even exceptions there, but usually the intermittent fasting, because what's going to happen is when somebody is trying to lose weight, there's going to be a cycle. So you're going to do X strategy to lose weight. Now, in our minds, we're going to do X strategy until we get to the weight we want to be, and then we live a balanced lifestyle. Doesn't work that way. You're going to do X strategy and you're going to lose some weight. You're not going to get where you want to, and your metabolism is going to go, I get it. And it's going to acclimate to that. And you're still going to have 20 pounds to go, or whatever the case may be. Knowing that's going to be the case, no matter how great a program it is that you dive into, when you hit that point where now your body is acclimated to your strategy, we've optimized exercise, volume, intensity, and modality. We've optimized your meal layout nutritionally for the strategy you're implementing, and you're still at a point where your body's not giving up more pounds. Then the third lever is going to be, we have to speed your metabolism. That's the point at which you are at a disadvantage with a more aggressive intermittent fasting strategy. So people will ask me all the time, do you lose more weight by eating small meals frequently or eating 1 or 2 bigger meals? And the answer is you're going to lose about the same given what the calorie content is, what the volume of food is. So average person who's used to eating 2,000 calories a day, it could be much more, much less, but we're just using that for the illustration, and spreads those 2,000 calories out over 5 or 6 small meals, snacks throughout the day, versus someone who eats just 1 or 2 times a day, will both lose about the same weight. There's nuances here. If exercise is involved, you could make an argument that the one spreading it out will recover better and have more energy and therefore lose more consecutive weeks. But by and large, just from a pure weight loss standpoint, about the same. The problem we get to is that point that I talked about earlier where you do hit a plateau. Mm-hmm. Everybody will plateau at that point. We have to get your body used to more fuel. That's where there is the trade-off. And I'm not saying intermittent fasting is bad, because there is scenarios and there is science to it. But that's where there's a trade-off, because it's exponentially harder for me as a coach to now work with someone who's used to only eating 1 or 2 a day, bigger meals, to get them used to more fuel without gaining weight. If I have someone who's used to eating 4, 5, 6 times a day, I can gradually increase their intake with minimal, no weight gain sometimes. In fact, occasionally, about 25 to 30% of the time, we can even lose a few more ounces while increasing their intake. If somebody's only used to eating 1 or 2, I only have 1 or 2 meals to add those calories to add those carbs to, and usually they're already fuller meals because they're going to be hungry if they're only eating that with that frequency. So that's where it gets a little bit more tricky, which is why you get that rebound weight gain a little more aggressively coming off of something like an intermittent fasting style. That's not to say it doesn't have its upsides. The principal upside is not what the gurus will sometimes overemphasize. Well, it's how your biology and hormones work when you're only eating once a day. That is true. There is truth to that. There is science behind that, but that's not the principal factor. The principal factor is you're eating less calories, you're eating less food, or you're eating less carbs because you're eating less often. And as a human being with a busy lifestyle, it is generally speaking easier to consistently eat less calories when you're skipping meals versus having to eat just right at each meal or snack. That takes more effort, more preparation, more thought. In other words, I mean, it's simple math. Instead of having 1 or 2 opportunities to eat something wrong, you have 4 or 5 opportunities to eat something wrong. So from a behavioral standpoint, sometimes people that just are struggling to get on board can find that they can compartmentalize the timing of their meals and lower their calories. but I want to just eliminate the myth of, well, it's because you're only eating in this 2 or 3 hour tight turnaround. It's blown out of proportion. We know that because of people who've gone through gastric bypass surgery and different, interventions of a surgical nature. What we'll find most of the time is they end up coming out on the other side eating very frequently small meals. Not always healthy either. Yeah. I've known many people, they'd wake up and eat a couple Triscuits and usually a handful of M&Ms a little later, and maybe they get one meal that's healthy, nutritious throughout the day. I'm not saying that's how you should do it, but this is the stuff I hear. But you know what? They're losing weight. Hand over foot, they're losing weight. I
feel like the more we talk to you, the more so many of these, so many diets that are out there, whether it's intermittent fasting or low carb, it's really more about like a personality quirk of the person that like there are a million different ways to get there, and for some people that's just the easier way to do it because of just how they're wired for whatever reason.
Right. I'll give you an example of when I actually instructed a client to use intermittent fasting. I'll give you 2 examples. So the first example was I had a client who he had a voracious appetite, and he would have long work days that required him to wake up early in the morning. And so what was happening is he was getting up, training at 4:35 a.m. And then he was needing to eat 2 or 3 times before lunch because after that intense training, he had this voracious appetite, and then he just kept eating throughout the day. So in his case, what we did was we had him sleep a little more in the morning, reposition his workouts to be right after lunch. Though it meant he didn't have as much time, so he had to shorten his workouts, he found that having breakfast a few hours later, in his case, it was about 10:30, 11 in the morning. That was still a significant switch. He was still eating 4 or 5 times a day, but he was able to tolerate a significantly lower calorie load and still recover from it, and that enabled him to lose weight.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, another example is I had a gal who she was one of the TV personalities that went on those deserted island type deals, and survive for 30 days, and you're going to eat the bugs and the whatever you get. Now, she didn't need to lose any weight. In fact, she actually wanted to gain a couple pounds. She was terrified that she was going to have low blood sugar and have a ravenous headache and feel miserable the whole time because she would eat every few hours. So I worked with her for about 6 months leading up to the show. And what we did was we slowly got her down to just eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, no snacking. And then after that, we took out her breakfast. And so she was just doing lunch and dinner. And then about 3 weeks before her leaving for the show, she just would do a really big dinner and a snack. We did that to recondition her metabolism to running slower. So now here's the big shocker. Eating less often doesn't speed your metabolism, it slows it. But by the way, I'm telling on myself here, so does eating less calories. Even if you're spreading them out through the day, eating less calories also slows it. So the key is we want to hypothesize a strategy that's going to work for you, so that way we can reduce intake in a way that we can strategically recover from on the other side. It takes a little planning. And when we have your metabolic rating and we know where you're starting, it makes it so much easier to determine if you're a candidate for this strategy or that strategy or another strategy entirely that maybe we hadn't thought of before.
And just to really drive the point home, so when David asked the question, what should you focus on for intermittent fasting? The question's actually bigger than that, because it's what is the strategy that works best for David? And that's where having a personalized approach from MetPro really, that's where you're getting the bang for your buck, because and we've talked about this before. Tom and I have completely different strategies, and everybody we've talked to who's on MetPro, I mean, I know Tom's just weird, we know that.
I can attest.
But everybody who's on MetPro is very different. It's not the same, because we all have, as you said, Tom, our own little quirks, our own little things that work for us, not only in our head but our metabolism that we need to change. So
I guess before we go, remind everybody where they can find MetPro if they would like more information.
See, I had to double check. I think I got it right. metpro.co/TCO for the clip out. metpro.co/TCO.
And now through the month of June.
Through the end of the month of June.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone who either signs up for a consult or downloads the app will be automatically entered to win 6 free months of MetPro. And if you've already signed up or done that, don't worry. They know who you are, not in a creepy way. I mean, you gave them their information. It's your own fault. But
it's such an eloquent way of delivering.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. So, but you are already entered. So don't feel like you missed the opportunity. And if you do win, they will just credit that moving forward. So go on by metpro.co/TCO for all of that information.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
In case you missed it.
Peloton had a fun post for Valentine's Day with Peloton-specific candy hearts.
They did bring your own energy, the same daycare, do epic shit, yes or yes. And I was just like, oh, man, I really, really, really wish these were real. I love them and I want them and I would have kept them and not eaten them.
Well, of course you wouldn't have eaten them because these are the worst candy ever.
No, that's not true. Black Twizzlers, those are the worst candy ever. That's some nasty
I
stuff
would say
right there.
candy corn.
Okay, that's up there. That's up there.
And I know right now there are people yelling at their podcast delivery device saying circus peanuts, and circus peanuts are delicious.
Nah.
I like circus peanuts.
But
and I know
whatever
it's
those
weird because
candy...
I'm such a weird eater. You would think that because most people hate circus peanuts, but I like them.
Well, I remember that candy you got when we were on a road trip. It was Red Hots or something. Those were
those hot tamales.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah,
Never
those are
had
good.
those.
Oh, or were they hot, or was it those sour cherry balls?
Oh, it might have been those.
I think it was those
Yeah.
that you like so much.
They were really yummy.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I like the candy hearts.
Lane Break has a new level, this time featuring Silk Sonic.
30 minutes, an evening with Silk Sonic.
That's a pretty short evening, Silk. Kind of phoning it in.
Well, when you're on lane break, it feels like a long time. 30 minutes feels like a long time, Tom.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I love it.
So Peloton Apparel had restocked the Callie Gullickson line that was so popular.
Yeah, bring your own energy.
And
so
apparently it's still so popular.
Still so popular. The first time it sold out in like 40 seconds. And this time it sold out in 10 minutes. All gone. Everything gone.
This is like talking about 2018 again.
I know. And they told everybody ahead of time. It was funny because people are like, I cannot believe it sold out in 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, there are 6 million members who all knew what time it was dropping.
For
it's
sure.
Kind of not that crazy when you think about it. There were not going to be 6 million pieces of each item. That's just not a thing.
Yeah.
So got to log on early,
Well,
folks.
they probably didn't have 6 million people trying to buy them.
No, I'm just saying that you can't have enough for every single person who's a member. That's all I'm trying to say. But I thought it was really funny. It was a restock, which they did really fast this time. And they told everybody they were doing it. And it still sold out. And people are still sad.
So Peloton got mentioned in the new Netflix movie called Your Place or Mine, which stars 2 Peloton users.
Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, both of whom have turned down interview requests. So not to toot our own horn.
Right.
But toot. So, but I guess it was Tig Notaro who actually made the reference.
Oh. Who's Tig Notaro?
She's a comedian, and she ended up accidentally going viral because she got cancer.
Oh.
And she went into
told me about
she went into the club one night after her cancer diagnosis, and instead of doing her routine, she just started just spilling her guts about her cancer diagnosis. But it was also really, really funny. It was like she was
Gallows
sad
humor.
and scared, but she was really funny while she was telling the story. And so I don't even think she recorded it. Was like someone there recorded it and it went viral. And then I think Louis C.K. back when that was
an okay thing.
Kind of amplified that, and she ended up getting a deal out of it. And she's really funny.
Well, good for her. Yeah. But apparently, she said to Ashton Kutcher while listening to his tale of woe over failed relationships, "Oh my God, I've got 10 of these," pointing to a coffee. I'm out of my mind. I need to hop on a Peloton or something. So that's great.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll get to watch that at some point soon.
It's on the Netflix and it's a rom-com, so
Right up my alley.
don't know why you wouldn't.
Feels like my Saturday thing when you're gone all day.
Yeah.
And I'm by myself.
It's going to shove it down your throat eventually.
Yeah, for sure. They'll serve it right on up to me. I'm the demo.
And for those of you who would like to see Crystal pre-injury, besides the 295 episodes before this, she was also on the Jay Nixon podcast.
Yeah, I think it's called like Thrive something. But this was a lot of fun. We had a really great conversation about the Peloton community and like the shift of my thinking of how much exercise had always been like a thing I had to do. And that I realized the thing that kept me coming back to Peloton was that it was fun. And so it was just a really, really fun conversation. I had a lot of fun with Jay Nixon. And so I want to tell everybody about it if you want to check it out. Episode 241, Thrive Forever Fit.
There we go.
Peloton birthdays.
And finally, we only got one birthday this week, and it's from Ross Rayburn, and his birthday is on February 19th.
Happy birthday to sweet Ross Rayburn. I took his healing meditation this week, so
So you didn't lose your streak.
had to keep my streak.
That's
Plus, it was
fair.
Ross Rayburn, so
And you need to heal. So I
do need
feel
to
like it
heal.
counts. I
It
don't
does.
feel like it's a cheat.
right?
Yeah.
And ironically, it talked about how you should have a strong backbone of a core of healing going up through your body, through the bottom of your sacrum. And I felt nothing strong about my backbone at that moment because that was like one of the first days right
Yeah,
after I
for
came
sure.
home. And I was like, oh, I need to retake this one when I don't hurt so much. I love Ross and I love his voice and I love his meditations. So happy birthday, Ross.
And coming up after this, we're going to replay an interview from, coming up on 2 years ago. But we got to sit down and talk to Snooki about her love of Peloton. So stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
So normally I start these off by say joining us via the magic of Zoom too, but today I'm going to pretend like the conversation is taking place entirely via duck phone. You've seen her on Dancing with the Stars, the new Celebrity Apprentice. She was at WrestleMania and competed, but you probably know her best from Jersey Shore. Ladies and gentlemen, the party's here. It's Snooki. Hey, how's it going?
Yes, how are you guys?
We're good. It is so awesome to have you here. I know that you ride Peloton, so I'm really curious. When did you originally come across Peloton and decide this is for me?
Well, I've been working out for 8 years, hardcore now, ever since I had my baby, my first son, Lorenzo, who's going to be 9, insane.
Wow.
So
Wow.
right when Peloton came out, the first year where it was getting popular and you've seen all the commercials, I was like, oh, I have to get the bike. So I ended up getting the bike, but I'm more of a runner. So before the tread came out, I was just all about the bike and I was forcing myself to do it. And I don't use it anymore because I have the tread now, but it's therapy. And if I don't run or if I don't do my cardio, I'm just a cranky, miserable mom. So I just it's like my saving grace. I have to use it every single day.
That's awesome.
So do you have a Peloton tread or just another tread that you use Peloton content on, or?
No, I have to get the Peloton tread. Yes.
So are you worried about your safety with the Peloton tread and the recall? Are you okay?
No, because so they come and install it and
Right.
tell you, because I have kids, they're like, oh, you have kids? I'm like, yes. And then they say, you always have to put this thing in there, make sure they're not around the equipment. So when I work out, my kids are not allowed to be downstairs with me. And if they are, they're in the total opposite direction of the room and they're not allowed to go in the gym unless I'm in there. So I'm not worried about it, but I could see how something bad could happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still heavy machinery, so it's
Right.
still, you still have to be careful.
Yeah,
When they delivered crystals, they told her all the same stuff, but because of me.
Yeah, they were like, don't let Tom in the room.
Yeah. He's not to be trusted.
So you were already working out. You were already going to the gym. Has Peloton changed your fitness level at all since you're doing it every day? Does that make it easier to stay in shape?
I feel like it definitely helped my cardio because I was weight training with my trainer. We've been doing heavy weight training for a while. So it definitely helped me with upping my cardio and helped me running faster, which is good. But yeah, it definitely, it helped overall with, my workouts and stuff like that.
And I know that you really use the bike because the bike is really made for somebody who's 5'4" and above. There was like actually a couple of articles that came out about if you're shorter than that, it's the bike's not really made for you. And I was curious if you had any tips for anybody out there who's on the shorter side. Like, what can they do to make the bike more comfortable?
Well, obviously, all the settings have to be like to the front, all the way to the front, all the way down. Like everything has to be on 0. But it's still uncomfortable. I mean, even when I work out in a gym, a lot of the equipment it's not made for a small person. So it's actually like do the form correctly. But I feel like the bike's not that bad. It just, it definitely hurts my ass more than usual.
Is there anything like any adjustments you have to make for the tread?
The tread, no. Yeah, the tread's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of like that about the treadmill, that it's more accessible for people. You don't need to know how to do anything. You can just, as long as you can walk, you can get on it and do a workout on it. So I feel like it's super accessible.
So with your fitness stuff, like you were a cheerleader in high school, I've read over the years. Did you do fitness stuff then, or was it just the beauty of youth that you could participate in an activity like that? Because that's pretty intense cheerleading, or at least some squads.
Yeah, so I did competitive gymnastics. I started at like 4. My mom just threw me in there. So I did that until 13. And then it really got like intense. And like, I didn't want to, it was just a lot. And, it's hard to be a teenager and also, dedicate your life to that sport. So gymnastics got a little too much. So then I decided to do cheerleading because you could still do the flips and you could still stunt and do all that stuff, but it's not as time consuming. Well, it wasn't all-star cheerleading, but it was high school cheerleading. So I was like captain of my cheer squad, and I still got to, do all my back tucks and my flips and stuff like that, just to, still kind of do the sport. And then after college, I did all-star competitive cheerleading. And then I did that until I got onto the show, and then everything just went downhill. I wasn't working out. I was drinking, and I gained like 50 pounds. So.
Wow.
Wow. And that has to be quite a culture shock when you're used to being fit in a certain size. And then also, I would think it would be difficult because like with the nature of the show, you're kind of incentivized to
go party
and drink and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I just turned 21. So it's kind of like my college years because I never really went away for college. I went to community. So it was like my college years to gain the freshman 15 and go crazy and enjoy yourself. And, I definitely missed working out, but at the same time I had a blast. So
yeah. Were you the top of the cheerleading pyramid? Like physically, like not like the hierarchy of the leadership, but
well, I was captain, so I was the leader.
You were both.
Also, so we're called flyers. So you have bases. So the bases throw the flyers in the air. So I was the flyer because, I'm tiny.
Sure, it makes total sense. If it makes you feeling better, I don't know anything about sports at all.
No, he doesn't.
Like if you were on a football team, were you the thrower guy? Like that's who I am.
So you said that you're using the treadmill. Do you do any of the yoga content, meditation, anything like that? Or do you just stick with the regular classes?
So I definitely love to take a break from running all the time just because it is exhausting. And, some days you're just not, you don't want to run at 8. Like you want to just relax and like relax your body, but still try and break a sweat. So my number 1 classes are Adrian Williams boot camps where you're running and then you do the floor and the weights. So I usually do those, but if my body's really tired, I love the new bar classes that they have. So I'm doing bar classes. I do meditation when I feel depressed. I'm like, okay, girl, this isn't you. So I do meditating and then I sit in the sauna. But I feel like I just feel like Peloton has everything for me when it comes to like my moods. Like I'm not always in like a good mood, I'm like stressed. I have 3 kids and life just happened. So I feel like every class is catered to like what mood I'm in that day.
So who's your go-to instructor for the like your everyday mood?
Adrian Williams.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I just love the fact that like, because don't get me wrong, all the instructors are amazing. I like to switch it up once in a while. But I feel like when I work out with him, I don't feel pressured. And I just feel like I'm chilling. And he has great music. And he pushes me, but not, I don't feel like he's pushing me. Do you know? Just like,
Yeah, like he's pushing you, but you don't feel stressed about that pushing.
Right. So like I feel calm.
Okay. So are there any instructors on a day that you're feeling like super hype, gotta take this, I need somebody to really kick my ass? Like who's that instructor?
So if I really want to like die, I'll do the bike with Kendall.
Oh yeah.
My favorite, and I've become friends with her on Instagram because I'm obsessed with her and I just love her energy. So if I really want to die, I'll take her class.
I saw the other day that the current hardest rated class on the bike is Kendall's metal class.
Yeah, she's insane.
She is insane.
The numbers
like,
that she throws out, I'm like, girl, I will never be there on my best day. Like, like her class is like 6,000 people. I'm like 5,800. The last people. But
well, it doesn't help whenever, first of all, being female and, and then like the less that you weigh, the less power that you're putting down. So like that, and that affects the leaderboard.
The disadvantage to us. But yeah, I hate seeing the numbers. I'm like, oh.
Do you hide the leaderboard?
I do. Yeah. But when I'm running, because I don't usually do live classes because I just can't make the times. But when I do run and, there's a couple people taking the class, I make sure that I beat everyone. I'm like on an 8 and I'm dying and I feel like I'm gonna throw up, but I want to make sure that I come in like the first spot or the second spot.
Wow.
And like, I'm off. Like if they go in front of me, I'm like, fuck you. Like I get mad at them, but then like after I give them all high fives.
Okay. So now is that the here now crowd that you're beating or is that the entire? Okay.
No, here now. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys are jerks. And then I'm like, good job, everyone.
Now that I've beaten you, good job.
Yeah.
Do you high five them as you pass them? Are you like, haha, on your left?
When I know like they're not going to beat me anymore, I'm like, good job. I'm very
okay, so we have watched a lot of Jersey Shore, and I feel like I could put together a really hilarious montage of all the times we saw you peeing on the show. I remember reading on your Instagram a while back that you had an incident that you peed on the bike. Is that true? And if so, what happened?
So after 3 kids, you just can't control it anymore. So, if you go hard on the bike and you know how you go up and then you go down?
Yes.
Do that a lot of times, it'll just trickle out. And once I said that, there were so many moms that DM me. They were like, I'm so glad I'm not the only one, because that happens all the time. So usually if I know I'm going to go hard on the bike, I have to like wear my Depends because I know it's going to come out.
I mean,
everybody's waiting on that Peloton rower, but maybe they need a device for like Kegels.
For real.
They get on everything, honestly.
Well, if they do come out with a rower, are you gonna get that as well?
100%. Anything they come out with, I'll get.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I got to say, when you talking about Jersey Shore, obviously, and I know Jersey Shore gets a bad rap in a lot of areas, and I would like to give it a compliment, like a legit compliment.
I know that.
One of the things I see the Jersey Shore shows do, both the original and Family Vacation, that I don't know that I really can see other reality shows doing is like, yes, there's you guys fight sometimes and whatnot, but you guys legit make up.
Yeah.
Like you never see that, I feel like, on other shows, like people fighting and then modeling, like owning your shit and apologizing and then getting past it and being friends again. And I think people lose sight of that, or people have never watched it and they assume it's something that it's not.
No, yeah. So. I feel like we definitely are all a family and we know we're going to work together no matter what. And for me, I hate drama. I hate like bad blood. I hate, the big elephant in the room. It's just not part of my personality because I'm here just to have a good time and go home. So when there is drama with me, it's really hard for me. So that's why I decided to step back and take a break, because it's not the show that I signed up for anymore. But I feel like, when we do fight, we end up definitely making sure that we make up, because we are a family at the end of the day. And, people do fight. It is what it is, especially when you're filming that show, because, we're stuck in a house staring at each other for, 3 weeks. So I mean, it's bound to happen, but I feel like overall, we just want to have a good time.
It shows.
Totally.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I like that you guys have a camaraderie. And of course, there's got to be drama because that's life. You all have very strong personalities. You put people in strong personalities in a room together.
Yeah.
So, having said that about Peloton, the leaderboard, you were talking about how competitive you are. Do you ever like ride or run with your friends, like your real life friends?
So I used to do it with my sister-in-law when we sucked. And that was nice because we both knew that we sucked. So it was like we were in it together and dying together. And then Jenny, JWoww, recently got the bike and she's been doing that. So we've been trying to do a class together. But I prefer to die alone. So yeah.
Does anyone else in your household use the equipment, or is it all yours?
Yeah, my husband used to. He doesn't do the classes. He likes to do the landscapes. So he's like in China, mountains. So he likes to do that. But sometimes he gets motion sickness. But
has he tried the new ones? They just put out all those new fancy scenic rides.
Oh yeah, I don't know if he's seen that, but he's more of like a scenic ride. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The guided ones with the instructors are pretty cool. If I don't know if your husband will like it, if he likes the traditional ones, but I bet you would like it since if you like the instructors. And I'm also curious, do you have any advice for moms who are trying to fit in workouts? I mean, you love being a mom, but you have me time where you're able to you make that work. So how can moms do that?
Well, I definitely feel like it's a lot, especially with 3 kids, because you wake up at 7, drop them off at school, you're getting all your chores done. And by the time you have like a minute to yourself, it's already 7 o'clock at night. And you're like, shit, I didn't even have time to like work out or do anything for myself. So even like taking the Peloton classes, like even if you don't have the equipment and you just have the app, you can literally play it on your TV in your bedroom. Because this is what I do sometimes if I don't have time. When the kids are in bed, I'll do like a 20-minute body weight class just to like get something done, and I'm sweating. I got it done and I feel good. They even have 10-minute like stretching and stuff. So I know moms can be very busy and it's a stressful life being a mom, but taking like the 20 minutes, even like right before bed, it's definitely worth it.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So, do you ever envision taking a class in the studio when that's allowed again, or is that like too much? Do you think that would be too much?
Literally right before the pandemic hit, me and my really good trainer friend, Adria, she's been trying to be an instructor for Peloton for like 2 years now. She's been sending her resumes. But right before the pandemic hit, we did Cody's class twice. And then they were going to start to do the tread classes. And then that's when everything, closed up. And then I was supposed to do this little press thing, and I was going to run with one of the instructors, like, outside and like talk about Peloton. So yeah, I started to, do live classes and stuff like that. Being in the studio is amazing. It is,
right?
Yeah. Because honestly, I do love doing cycle in classes just because you get the vibe. It's all dark. You're all sweaty. It feels like you're in a club because you're listening to the club music. So spin in classes. So yeah, I was doing that and then everything shut down. So hopefully it'll start up because I definitely want to do Adrian's class. I will die. Like that's the first class I'm going to run to is Adrian's class. I'm in there.
Is that the instructor you're supposed to do the press thing with, or was it someone else?
No, I forget who it was. I think it was a girl. But it was right when the tread came out. So, they wanted to like do something with that. Yeah, I got upset because COVID ruined everything.
Oh,
it ruined a lot of things.
So many things.
That's for sure. So this is a podcast, in case you didn't know, but you also have a podcast, in case you didn't know. What you want to tell people about your podcast and what all happens on there?
Yeah, so I've had my podcast for like a couple of years now. It's with my gay bestie and makeup artist, Joey. And we've actually been doing live virtual shows because right before the pandemic hit, we were touring and like selling out all these venues, doing our live podcast shows. And it was just so much fun. So we ended up doing live ones. So we're doing a live one June 4th. You literally just sign on. It's like a girls' night and we're just like drinking. We do interaction with fans. So it's like a big Zoom of all of us just drinking, being stupid. But yeah, it's called It's Happening with Snooki and Joey. And it's basically a podcast where you're just listening to girlfriends both. And we also do celebrity gossip, but like we report everything wrong and we have no idea what we're saying. So it's it's great.
Does.
And I'm also curious now, I don't know how closely you follow Peloton. I can tell you love them. Do you like, were you part of Homecoming that recently happened? Were you watching all of the events that happened, or did you get involved in any of that?
Yeah, so I saw it was happening, but at the time I was doing work and filming stuff. So I didn't have time to be a part of it, but I love all that stuff. I love the fact that they do that because it's just like fun. It's fun stuff for all of us. And it's not just like a regular class. It's like you're excited to do something different.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What do you feel like? I'm a huge fan of not just the products, but also the company itself. Is there anything that like you kind of nerd out about the company itself? Like, I don't know, the fact that whenever we went to Homecoming a couple years ago, they had big foam high fives. Like I totally nerded out about that they gave out. Like, is there anything that like you just absolutely love, you're a fan of?
I mean, I feel like we could add some mimosas. We could add alcohol and pizza because, sometimes we should be rewarded for killing it.
Yes. Yes.
We can add that.
I feel like it's a real shame you couldn't like go back in time in a time machine and go to the studio whenever they first opened, because they used to have kind of like parties in the studio with all of the members, and they all like would have like, they weren't supposed to have things in their solo cups, but they had stuff in their solo cups. Yeah. And it was a blast. It was so much fun.
I only did 2 in my life, but mud runs. So you would literally kill it with all your friends, do the mud run, and then everyone will go to the bar and celebrate after. So that's like stuff that's nice. That's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It motivates you, and then you like let all that adrenaline out in another healthy way.
But after a mud run, when you go to the bar, don't order a mud slide because you won't be able to tell if you dripped into it.
Seriously. I mean,
that's a pro tip.
Literally a mess.
Yeah.
So I know that you mentioned you had worked on kind of like a collaboration. There's obviously lots of other collaborations Peloton is working on. Would that be something that you might be interested in with Peloton in the future? And if so, like, what would you envision that looking like?
A collab like what?
Oh, I don't know. Like they did the thing with Shonda Rhimes where it was the year of yes. And so it was like all inspirational. What if they had like, I don't know, a Snooki version where it was just like people being real?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd definitely be down for that. All real, like no filter, because that's me all the time, especially as a mom. Like, we had Mother's Day the other day and everyone was posting like all these like glamorous pictures and like their dresses at brunch with their kids and like these, Ralph Lauren outfits. And here's me like begging my kids to take a picture with me at 7:00 at night so I could do my post, and we're all in pajamas. No one's looking at the camera. Everyone's yelling at me and I have no makeup on and I'm just a mess. So I look it real like that and not, try and make everything look like it's, perfect, because it's not. So that would be my thing, is keeping it real. And then of course the classes would be like all house music. Like, let's go.
Now, I'm curious, do you ever take Ben Aldis's classes? Because he does a lot of house music.
Really?
Yes.
That down. Definitely.
Yeah, he's one of the UK instructors, but he does do a lot of house music. So
what about the DJ rides with DJ
yeah. Have you ever tried a DJ ride DJ ride or run?
DJ's so cute because he's so dramatic and like gets into it. And by like the second, 2 minutes in, he's sweating more than like me. And he's just, I love his vibes.
He has the best. He's very motivational and real on his Instagram. He
watch while you're dying.
Yes. And I love how he talks about like his struggles with body image and his mental health issues, and he's very open about all that. And I love that about him.
Totally.
DJ John Michael.
I know.
I was saying it for people who didn't know.
I was like, I'm out of the loop, but I know that much.
What about your boutique that you have, the shop that you have? There's a couple locations, right?
Yeah. So I had the Snooki shop online for a while. And then I decided, you know what? I always wanted to have like a physical store, just to be like, oh, I have like a cute little shop, come in. So I ended up opening that like, I think 3 years ago. And then I just opened a new one in November, a town close to where I grew up, Beacon, New York. And then I have my one here in Jersey and Madison, New Jersey. And right now I'm looking at places in Long Island just because I have a lot of fans there and Long Island's like amazing. So yeah, I'm trying to expand, but I love being, a store owner just because obviously I love clothes and I love leopards. So the fact that I can have a store filled with leopard stuff, I mean, I love it.
So I have a follow-up here. So you opened a store in November?
Right in the middle of COVID.
Of the pandemic. In November of 2020?
I don't know why. I just, I don't think on things. And I feel like that's why I'm so successful, because I just don't think and I go. And usually shit just happens and, it works out. So, yeah, I decided to open in November and I mean, it worked out. It's not like the best, but it's working.
Wow. That's ballsy.
It is.
I was like,
I'm super jelly. You don't get in your head. You don't get in your head about stuff. You just do it.
I'm a Sagittarius, so I just go. And I feel like if I think about it too much, then it'll never happen. And I always, I don't know, I just go with my gut feeling. I'm very intuitive. So I was like, this has to happen right now.
I'm curious, does your actual home closet look the way a boutique does? I envision that it does for some reason.
My colors in my boutique are black and white and then hints of gold. And my walk-in closet is black and white tile and there's gold everywhere. So literally when I built my house, I made sure I had this closet and I was like, I'm going to pretend this is like my store, but it's really my closet. So yeah, everything just came to life.
I love that.
So are you drowning in Peloton branded clothes as well? Or are you like, I got my own boutique, I don't need that stuff?
No, yeah. I mean, I like to support myself, but I also love Peloton. So when I do work out, I'm either wearing Snooki Sport, which is like my stuff, or I'm wearing Walmart.
One of the three.
She said keeping it real. Walmart. You don't get much more real than a Walmart.
I love that.
So,
I have a little bit of an addiction with the boutique.
Walmart once a week. It's bad.
Do you? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you can't just buy one thing when you go to Walmart. It's all the things.
Yeah, it's fun.
So do you have any advice for people just getting a bike or tread?
Well, I literally told Jenny this because she just got the bike and now she's on it every single day and she's getting better and better. But I warned her, I was like, girl, it's not easy. Do not take Kendall's class. Go definitely to the beginner's class, because it can be discouraging, because, people try the bike out and they're not, they're just not ready for it yet. It can be discouraging and be like, oh, I totally made a mistake. This is not for me. So definitely just take it slow. And it takes time to be able to go into the intermediate classes. I mean, it took me like 3 months to be able to do an intermediate class on the bike. So don't be discouraged. Just keep going. And I've been there. I'm still there when I get on the bike, because I haven't been on the bike for probably a month now because I've been running. But when I do go on the bike, I'm like, I'm a beginner again. Like this sucks.
Isn't it funny? I always find that so interesting that like you would think running would make you better on the bike, but it makes me worse on the bike. Like my output goes down. I could run every single day and I get on that bike and my output goes down. It drives me nuts.
It's crazy because my output on the tread is almost 400, and then my output on the bike is like 120. I'm like, yeah, now I know where I'm good at. I like running.
I do too.
I get that though. It makes you feel like you're better at it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does for me. But I think there's also something about running that's a little more meditative than a spin class. And I love spin classes, but I don't know. There's something about the rhythm of running that makes it a little more meditative. So
I just feel like I'm moving more. I feel like I'm killing myself more because you're like, you're moving your whole body. On the bike, I just feel like I'm sitting, but like my legs are burning. You know what I mean?
I do
love spin in a class. Like once Peloton opens, I'm there for classes, but just me on the bike, I'm just, I can't get motivated. I don't know.
Okay. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah. So are you comfortable with sharing your leaderboard name with people or no?
So I do have Mama, which is like my public one, but I haven't been on there because I got so many like requests that it was overwhelming. I was like, I just want to work out. So
sure.
I do have the Mama one, but I haven't been on there. I do have my private one that I'm going to keep private, and that's what I use every day. But yeah.
I totally understand.
Totally get
that.
it. I totally get it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. And we really do appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you have more important things than our little dog and pony show. So
Yes.
thank you.
Fine. I got a break from the kids. So thank you.
Flip out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. You made it.
I made it.
Welcome back.
I did a whole hour, you guys.
Yeah,
I
Gina
did
was
it.
great, but I much prefer you.
Aw, thank you.
No offense, Gina. But
You guys are pretty much the same person anyway.
yeah, it's too similar.
Yeah, you
Like,
guys
they're-
are. It's if I ever ask you a question and I want somebody else's opinion, but I want it to be similar to yours, I just ask Gina because you guys always say the same thing.
It is frightening
It
how many
really
times
is.
you have done that.
Not just the same general advice, the same words.
Yeah.
Like they are the same person. I love that about both of them so much.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
So until next week, where can we find you?
On my couch, still healing.
Yes.
You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and maybe the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
The meditation leaderboard.
There you go.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our YouTube channel where you can look at Crystal's wound progression weekly. And that is youtube.com/The Clip Out. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
And running
and rowing.
in a crosswalk. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm like, you can row in a crosswalk?